before we get started with today's video, you guys don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Hey, what is up everybody? Sierra here, back for another great video for you guys. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. I spent time with my family and stuff like that and really enjoyed myself. I hope you did also. Today we're going to be talking about the True Patriot. Now, as you guys know, this is what my build looks like. I'm going to go over it piece by piece with you guys with all that I have done to this build, especially recalibrating some of the pieces. But the first thing we're going to talk about is gunner specialization. I do use this a lot in DPS builds. It is very common with other people as well. It is a really good specialization to use, even if you, if you're new to the game. You can do missions and you get these points and stuff. You can increase everything and stuff like that and unlock extras and so on. First weapon we're going to talk about is the Honey Badger. I really do like this gun so much. It gets the job done, especially if you put Killer on, which is 40% crit hit damage for 10 seconds. Also have everything on this gun maximized. It's just great to run what you got and stuff. I love crit hit chance on it. It's perfect. I really do like it a lot. First thing I like to run is a C79 scope. It has 5% crit hit chance. I like to zoom in it and from far away, and you can actually get good kills with it. Next thing to talk about is the extended 5.56 mag, plus 20 rounds, negative 10 reload speed. You can hold more bullets on it and stuff. It's just great. Last but not least on this weapon, I'm also running a short grip, and it's 5% crit hit damage. And this is what I usually use on most of my weapons, especially ARs, and it's worth it in my opinion. Next weapon I'm using is a Dark Winter, which is a named SMG. One of my all-time favorite SMGs in the game. It's just a great weapon. It has a talent called Perfect Killer on it, which is 50% crit hit damage for 10 seconds. And it also has maximized stats on it. And it was running headshot damage, but I changed it to crit hit damage. It has 1200 rate of fire on it. It's just awesome. And I'm also running all 5% crit hit damage mods on this one. Starting off with the Russian red dot sight. If you don't want to use all crit hit damage, change one of them to like crit hit chance for this. It is good no matter what you put on. It's just something I like to use myself. I'm also running an extended 45 ACP mag, plus 20 rounds and negative 10 reload speed. The reload speed isn't nothing. It still reloads pretty fast. And I'm also running a short grip, which is 5% crit hit damage, which is very common of what I like to use on my weapons, depending on which one I decide to use, of course. And then I'm also using a flash hinder muzzle, and it also has 5% crit hit damage on it as well. So yeah, this weapon is just one of my favorites. You can use any weapons you want for this build, but I chose the AR and SMG on this one because I figured both of these weapons would help get the job done much faster. Next thing we're going to talk about is, of course, the pieces to the build. First off, we're going to start with is the mask. Now, the mask is just really good, okay? So, I originally wasn't going to go with doing the mask on it. I was going to do chest piece, holster, gloves, and knee pads. but I figured why not. So we're going to talk about the talent red, white, and blue, which is on this build. So, okay. So every like 2 seconds on your shoulder there's like this flag, and it changes from red to white to blue, and it's a debuff effect. So you're shooting enemies, they have this flag above their head, and what it does is, like, if it's a full flag over their heads, and you kill them, it activates this debuff effect, which it's like a big giant explosion, like a firework explosion. And if you kill an enemy, then, and there's like enemies right next to them and stuff, the explosion will damage the enemies. And it's just one of the coolest features about this build is that you can like shoot them and it does like this explosion and it damages them and stuff. It's just awesome. Another thing too about this, if it will not damage the named enemies much. Like, if you kill an enemy and stuff and the explosion happens, it won't affect the named enemies that much, so please be aware of that as well. But yeah, this has really awesome features about it, and I really do like this build a lot. So next thing we're going to talk about is the next few pieces. The backpack, for example, or the holster, for example. Well, the backpack's next, but the holster has 5% crit hit damage on it. I recalibrated it because it normally had headshot damage on it, and I changed it. The backpack and knee pads has the same thing on them. It has a crit hit chance recalibrated onto it, and it also has a 4.7% crit hit chance mod. And the other thing too is that the backpack and chest has talents to them as well. But on the backpack, it's called Patriotic Boost. So the debuff strength has to do with the explosion that happens after you eliminate an enemy. So whether the enemy has red or blue on it, it's 8 to 12% extra damage. And if they're white, and if they have white over their head, it's 2 to 3% damage. So you do have to have the chest piece in order for this to activate. And it is a really cool thing to have the chest piece. I didn't have the chest piece for this build, but I just put on what I had. So I just, I went with what I could and stuff. Next thing we're going to talk about is the chest piece, which is Fenris. I like running Fenris with ARs, and normally I would have one that was maximized the way it is and stuff, but I did modify it to run Obliterate. Obliterate is a really good talent to run if you're using shotguns as well. So it is worth using if you do have the chest piece to go with the backpack of True Patriot because of that talent. But since I didn't have it, I just went with a Fenris. Next piece I'm running is Seska, and it runs 10% crit hit chance. I'm also running, the attributes are close to being maximized. They're not all the way maximized. But one of the biggest things about Seska is that many people use it for for mainly DPS builds, but they also like to run it with like armor builds or something like that. It just depends on how really you use it. But I like using it especially on DPS builds. Sometimes I like to use it on armor builds, but yeah, it just really depends on what I decide to run and stuff like that. Next thing we're going to talk about is the skills. Now, as you guys know, I like to use Crusader Shield a lot. Now, Crusader Shield really is a good talent, a good skill to use. Not talent, but skill to use. I like to run shield health, and I like to run holster regeneration. But if you don't have two shield health, then holster regeneration will be fine. Um, but yeah, this is one of my favorite skills to use in the game because you can use ARs, you can use SMGs and stuff like that with it. You can just shoot people with it. It's just awesome. Next skill is the High Reviver. Now, I've mentioned to you guys in my other videos that I like to use High Reviver and Crusader Shield a lot, but High Reviver is just a good one because you can literally get your friends up much faster. You can get yourself up as well because it will revive you back up if you go down during battle, and it's just great. I'm running Reviver Armor Repair, I'm running Health just in case the enemy shoot at it, and I'm also running Repair Charges. I didn't really have much for this skill and stuff, but I just ran with what I got. So use whatever that you want to use for this skill. And yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So last but not least, you guys, is the stats. Now, the stats is what helps you know what your skills and stuff is, you know, your damage and all that. So I'm currently running on this build 60% crit hit chance, which is the maximum, 119.8% crit hit damage, and 75% headshot damage. Even though headshot damage is low, it's still a good amount, especially if you're using your AR or SMG. Um, if you don't want to run Honey Badger or Dark Winter, there is other options available, like the Burnout, or you can use the AUG, or you can use any SMG you want, even the Grudge or anything like that. But I chose these two weapons because they've proven to be really good weapons for this build, and I've even tested them out several times to see which is better, and these won. So, anyway, you guys, just wanted to say thank you for tuning into this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And until then, you guys, thank you for your support, and I really do appreciate it. Everybody have a great day, great weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.